Good evening, welcome. This is Your View, Newsroom Africa, Channel 405. I am Thabo Mdluli in for JJ Tabane this evening. Lots to get through and lots to talk about as well with what's happening in the nation. Right, we're coming fresh off the nation commemorating the National Day of Reconciliation, which happened yesterday. Now, we heard political parties expressing mixed views about that public holiday. Now, I'm one who likes a public holiday like the next person, right? But there is something about that particular holiday that requires us to say a little bit more than just the fact that you took out a chop out of the fridge and you put it on top of coal and you had something to drink, right? Because in 1995, we came up with this idea that we want to use this Day of Reconciliation to promote the conversation around national unity. Now, various organizations have weighed in, various South Africans have weighed in. COPE, for example, Dennis Bloom saying there was no difference in reconciling the country since 1994. He says, we find it very difficult to celebrate Reconciliation Day because of what we see in the country after 25 years of democracy, saying there's nothing that we can really celebrate. Many South Africans still live in informal settlements. Healthcare and unemployment have also worsened. That's what he says. And then you've got the DA's spokesperson, Solima Lache, saying this day was a day of reflection, right? No matter how difficult things have been in the country, particularly with race relations, inequality, xenophobia, gender-based violence, it is important that on a day like the Day of Reconciliation, we reflect on the journey the country has gone through and cherish right, the rights that have made it possible to build the exclusive society that we should constantly aspire to. That's what he says. The ruling party's Pule Babi saying South Africans should come together no matter what the race. The significance of the Day of Reconciliation is the moment that we bring our people together across racial and cultural divides so that we can contribute towards building a country we can all call home. And that's essentially what we are striving for. But what you have seen in the country, right, in the last couple of months, let's just track back. And you tell me if you think in 25 years of democracy, we are making progress. We've got this lady, Vicky Momberg, who screams all sorts of insults at black people. Listen to this.
Oh, it doesn't matter what is there. Terrible. I'm so sick.
Wherever you please, I'm not going to allow it to talk to us at all.
And every single person that answers the phone, the caliber of blacks in this town vary from the caliber of blacks in Europe. They're opinionated, they're arrogant, and they're just plain and simple. I'm happy for a white person to assist me, or a colored person, or an Indian person. I do not want a black person to assist me.
Okay.
And I'm not prepared to deal with it. I've just been smashed and grabbed with a bar.
It doesn't calm down. It doesn't want to.
So you don't consider yourself a racist, Vicky, at all, even after all of the court processes, after the state has put its case, after they have indicated the seriousness of what you have said, whether you are insane or not aside, you don't consider yourself a racist whatsoever.
This case is nothing about racism, and everyone can look at someone differently in different ways and look at and see whether, and they can make their own determination about racism.
Yeah.
If I take my day-to-day living, there would be an impossibility that I could be a racist because I deal with black people on a daily basis. Over the World Cup period, I entertained a few hundred people from various countries, Ghana, Nigeria, as well as South Africans. I've done tours through Soweto, where I've been the only white person. You know, I deal on, during the years that I have been working, I've dealt a lot with people of color. So.
And that's the racist Vicky Momberg. You want my view? I'll give you my view. I think the likes of Vicky Momberg should not be allowed to get away with statements like, I've got many friends who are from Soweto. Because that means you just do not get it. It's not about how many friends you have who are from Soweto, but it's about the real transformation and the restructuring of this economy, that those friends who are from Soweto can also have a voice just like you do. And that would mean that they need to have access to things and the economy just like you do. And you seem to not understand that aspect of the privilege that you have just because of the color of your skin. And then, of course, there is this auntie who's always putting her foot in it.
Recognize the offence caused by my tweet on the 16th of March 2017 with regard to the legacy of colonialism. I therefore apologise unreservedly to the South African public who were offended by this tweet and my subsequent explanation of it. I realise the wounds of history that my tweet and subsequent defence of it has opened. In particular, I recognise that my actions were insensitive to South Africans who suffered under colonial oppression. For this, I am genuinely sorry.
Are you saying that if all was equal, it would not matter what you have said on your tweets, considering that you have apologized, and I want to believe that your apology was genuine, right? So it means that even if the party, however the party, and that, in fact, that's what led you to apologize for it, especially on the issue of colonialism, Helen?
Well, the bottom line is this. I think it is completely wrong for people to say that white South Africans are the problem in this country. 90% at least of white South Africans want to be part of the future. They want to contribute constructively, and they want to use their skills to build one South Africa for all. At least 90% of whites want to do that. If they keep on being pushed out and blamed for all the problems of this country, many of which problems have got absolutely nothing to do with the past and everything to do with very bad policies of the present and looting and cadre deployment and state capture, if whites continue to be blamed for every single problem, they are going to be extraordinarily alienated, even though they want to contribute to South Africa's success.
I'm sorry, but is that what the DA said to you when they were hauling you over the coals about your colonialism tweets?
I'm not sure what they were saying to me. I think they were saying to me, you offended some people and that was wrong.
So are you saying you didn't apologize for the substance of the tweet? You apologized for what it meant for others who were offended, Helen?
Well, the bottom line is this.
Yes.
Every single historian, almost, except Frans Fanon, but certainly every single historian that I have ever read, and Nelson Mandela, and Moeletsi Mbeki, and Oliver Tambo, have all said the legacy of colonialism is not only negative. And we can see that around us every day with infrastructure, with developments like formal schooling, with the church, with the written word, all of that. With the development of Xhosa as a written language, all of that was part of the legacy of colonialism.
If we're still going to do a back and forth like that, then reconciliation remains display some kind of flag from the past, right? And keeping on dragging us to that past. When people in the country keep saying, this thing is offensive, I'm not quite sure which part don't you get about that.
Do you believe in Ubuntu?
That depends on what Ubuntu means.
So Ubuntu means a quality that includes the essential human virtues, compassion and humanity.
Yes.
So if you say yes, then are you not compassionate to the black people who find this flag offensive?
No, I certainly am. That's why I don't display that flag and I discourage people from displaying it.
And you still have this tweet up.
But it's not in the spirit of Ubuntu to say, to regulate what people, how people express
But
themselves.
the judge in his ruling says it's an incitement you know, it cannot be used because it can be seen as an incitement and, you know, to incite polarized feelings. And the judge talks about how this invokes certain emotion, you know, among other people. So, and South Africa has a national flag, but that flag is in the Constitution, and the Constitution has the colors of this flag. Now, displaying this one, and you say that you believe in the values of Ubuntu.
Well, the spirit...
How are you then not seeing what this could incite?
The values of Ubuntu means that you shouldn't trample on other people's rights to express themselves if they express themselves in ways in which you disagree.
So for me,
so it's in the spirit of Ubuntu to say that we have a problem with this judgment, because this judgment says you are expressing yourselves in a way that is problematic to us or to me, and therefore you're not allowed to do it.
So then that means you don't wholly believe in Ubuntu then, because Ubuntu has the values of compassion
if what you are saying if what you are saying is the definition of Ubuntu, then the state president is not acting within the spirit of Ubuntu if he refers to black people as our people, or when people say white people are land thieves.
He referred to black people according to you.
You should refer to black people as black people. If
And
you're the
before-
president of the country, you can't refer to one race as our people.
What this tells us is that the slogan of Rainbow Nation is seemingly retired with the Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. Personal racist incidents still make the headlines, and class remains hued by color at the structural level. Although slightly over half of the country's middle class is now black, deep poverty is an almost exclusive black experience. Race continues to divide. Take just the best-known parties among the 4 dozens that we have in the country. They all represent radically different perspectives on the race issue. And at the extreme, there is no crossing the color line. And the president expects us to behave this way.
We see it on our television screens, where programming reflects the diversity of cultures of this country, but most especially the diversity of language. Let us not see language as a barrier to coexistence, but as a means to reach out to those with different cultures. Let us make an effort to learn each other's languages and to teach our own to others. We will not allow the prophets of doom to tell us that we are worse off than before 1994, or that race relations have deteriorated in our country.
Mr. President, reconciliation would be difficult for me if we still find ourselves subject to ongoing racism. Reconciliation would be difficult for me if we still find ourselves with the are still living in informal settlements, healthcare is still in shambles, education is not where it needs to be, unemployment has worsened, the lights are not on. Whose fault is that? That's the question. We've got Solima Paile up next. He's going to talk to us. He is our newsmaker of the day today, following their midterm review. They call it a special congress of the SACP, which was held out in Ekurhuleni. Are they ready to take on state power? That's the question. And of course, it seems there is only one province amongst them that decided to raise the issue of the Secretary General taking a full-time position in the party. No one else was up for seconding that particular view. By the way, you can call us. It's 010-594-5140 to be a part of the show. Let's take a break now. We'll continue after this.